Rare coin collecting. Discover real value and history in every coin.
The 2007 Montana State Quarter might look like just another coin from the 50 State Quarter series, but its bold, haunting design and rare minting qualities have turned it into one of the most iconic pieces of modern U.S. coinage. And for a few lucky collectors, this 25-cent piece from the Philadelphia Mint has sold for over $1,500 at auction. Released on January 29, 2007, the Montana Quarter was the 41st release in the legendary 50 State Quarters program, which began in 1999 and ran through 2008. It was the first coin issued in 2007, honoring the state known as Big Sky Country. The coin's reverse design, created by Charles L. Vickers and sculpted by Don Everhart, captures Montana's raw spirit, a land of beauty, wilderness, and history. At its center floats a majestic bison skull, set against a backdrop of the vast Montana plains with snow-capped mountains in the distance. Above, the inscription, Montana 1889, commemorates the year the state entered the Union, while below, Big Sky Country, and E Pluribus Unum 2007, complete the tribute. It's a simple yet deeply symbolic design. The bison skull represents both the power and fragility of life, a nod to Montana's Native American heritage and the region's history as a home to massive bison herds. The image of the skull against the endless sky captures the vastness and resilience of the American West. The obverse side features George Washington's familiar profile, designed by John Flanagan and slightly modernized by William Cousins for the State Quarters series. Around the edge are the inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. The Philadelphia Mint struck about 257,200,000 Montana quarters, while the Denver Mint struck a nearly identical number. Proof and silver proof versions came from the San Francisco Mint. With such a high mintage, you'd expect them to be common, but finding one in pristine condition is a different story. In circulated condition, the 2007 Montana Quarter is worth face value, just 25 cents. But in mint state, MS, grades, where coins remain untouched and lustrous, values increase dramatically. MS 65, around $5 to $10. MS 66, typically $25 to $40. MS 67, around $70 to $150. MS 68, extremely rare, worth $400 to $800 depending on eye appeal. And the top examples? A 2007 Montana Quarter graded MS 68 by PCGS sold for an astonishing $960, while another high-end example reached $1,265, setting a new record for this issue. These coins are nearly flawless, sharp strike, full luster, and no contact marks, the kind collectors dream about. For proof collectors, the 2007 Silver Proof Montana Quarter, PR70 Deep Cameo, is a prized piece, selling between $150 and $250, thanks to its deep mirrored fields and frosted designs. These coins were struck from 90% silver and distributed in collector proof sets. But where things get even more exciting is in the errors and varieties. Some of the most interesting Montana quarters include off-center strikes, valued between $150 and $400, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing, usually sell for $250 to $600. Die cracks or cuds, which create raised lines or blobs of metal, can range from $50 to $300, based on size and location. Missing clad layer errors, where the outer nickel layer is absent and the copper core is exposed, can exceed $1,000 in top grades. These minting errors turn ordinary coins into conversation pieces, making them highly desirable among modern error collectors. Beyond its value, though, the Montana Quarter stands out for its visual and emotional impact. The bison skull symbolizes endurance and remembrance, a connection between life, death, and the vast natural world. It's a haunting reminder of the American West's past and the resilience of its people. The backdrop, wide plains fading into the horizon, represents Montana's nickname, Big Sky Country. It's a coin that perfectly balances emptiness and beauty, simplicity and depth. Interestingly, the Montana design was chosen from over 4,000 public submissions, reflecting the pride and participation of the state's residents in capturing their heritage. The U.S. Mint sculptors brought the vision to life with sharp relief and bold contrast, making it one of the most recognizable quarters in the entire series. Today, the 2007 P. Montana State Quarter remains a favorite among collectors for its unique design, spiritual symbolism, and potential for high-grade or error discoveries. While millions circulate, coins in uncirculated rolls, original mint sets, or PCGS, NGC certified holders still command premium prices. So, if you come across a shiny Montana quarter, especially with a P. mint mark just beside Washington's ponytail, take a closer look. Examine its details, luster, and surfaces. If it's pristine or shows an unusual mint error, you might not just be holding 25 cents. You could be holding a rare treasure worth hundreds, or even one of those record-breaking examples worth over $1,200. The 2007 P. Montana State Quarter is more than metal. It's a miniature monument to America's untamed beauty, minted for the palm of your hand. A lasting reminder that even in the smallest corners of change, there's still a chance to discover a piece of history worth far more than face value. The 2004 Iowa State Quarter might look like just another part of the 50 State Quarter series, but its timeless design and rare high-grade examples have made it one of the most sought-after modern quarters. Some examples have shocked collectors by selling for over $3,000 at auction, proving that even coins from your pocket change can hide serious value. Issued on August 30, 2004, the Iowa Quarter was the 29th release in the 50 State Quarters program, and it celebrates Iowa's rich tradition of education, community, and agriculture, the heart of American life. The coin's reverse design, created by John Mercanti after an original artwork by Grant Wood, features a one-room schoolhouse, a nod to Iowa's dedication to learning and rural values. The scene shows a teacher and students planting a tree outside the schoolhouse, symbolizing growth, knowledge, and the passage of wisdom to future generations. Above the scene, the inscription reads, Foundation in Education, while Iowa 1846 marks the state's year of admission to the Union. The design captures the essence of small-town America and the values that shaped the Midwest: community, hard work, and hope for the future. The obverse side features George Washington's profile, the work of John Flanagan, adapted by William Cousins for the State Quarter series. Surrounding it are the words, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. The Denver Mint produced about 251,400,000 Iowa quarters, while the Philadelphia Mint struck a similar amount. Proof and silver proof versions came from the San Francisco Mint, intended for collectors. While the total mintage seems high, coins with pristine strikes and perfect surfaces from the Denver Mint are incredibly scarce today. In circulated condition, the 2004 Iowa Quarter is worth just 25 cents, but in uncirculated mint state, MS, grades, prices rise steeply. MS 65, around $5 to $10. MS 66, around $25 to $40. MS 67, between $80 and $200. MS 68, extremely rare, worth $400 to $800 or more depending on quality. The record auction sale? A 2004 Iowa State Quarter graded MS 68 by PCGS sold for an incredible $2,990, making it one of the highest prices ever realized for a modern clad quarter from the state series. For collectors of proof coins, the 2004 Silver Proof Iowa Quarter, PR70 Deep Cameo, struck in 90% silver, sells for around $150 to $250. With particularly strong demand among those completing full silver proof sets. Now, let's talk about errors and varieties, the real wildcards that can turn a normal Iowa quarter into a jackpot. Here are the most valuable types to look for. Off-center strikes. Where part of the design is missing or shifted. Worth $100 to $400, depending on the degree. Clipped planchets. Where a section of the coin's edge was cut off during minting. Can bring $200 to $600. Missing clad layer. Where the nickel coating is gone, exposing the copper core. These can fetch $1,000 to $1,500. Double die errors. Slight doubling of letters or numbers, often worth $100 to $300 depending on visibility. Even minor mint errors on this coin can make it far more valuable than face value. Collectors especially prize missing clad layer, or off-center, examples with certification from PCGS or NGC. The Iowa quarter also carries strong symbolic meaning. The image of a schoolhouse and children planting a tree connects deeply with Iowa's identity as a state that values education, growth, and the future. The design was inspired by a 1931 painting by Grant Wood, the same artist behind the famous American Gothic. That connection gives the coin a true cultural and artistic pedigree, rare for a modern issue. The trees in the background, the detailed brickwork, and the hand-planted sapling remind collectors that America's strength comes from small acts, like teaching, learning, and community. It's a simple yet profound message wrapped into a piece of circulating art. Although the Iowa State Quarter circulated widely, pristine uncirculated examples, especially from Denver, Mint, are scarce because most entered commerce immediately. Finding one with perfect luster, full detail, and no scratches or bag marks can feel like striking gold. If you happen to have rolls or bags of 2004 quarters, take a closer look at the mint mark on Washington's obverse, located just right of his ponytail. If you see a D, it's from Denver, and if the coin looks freshly struck, no contact marks, bright surfaces, and crisp detail, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands. Collectors continue to chase the MS-68 2004 D Iowa quarter as a key to completing the state quarter's registry sets, which is why even one or two exceptional examples can command jaw-dropping prices. So next time you see an Iowa quarter with the tiny D mint mark, look closer. You might not just be holding 25 cents. You could be holding a coin that sold for nearly $3,000, a miniature masterpiece born from America's most successful coin program, celebrating one of its most enduring values: education as the foundation of the future. The 2008 Arizona State Quarter might seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, but collectors know it hides one of the most striking designs, and some of the most valuable hidden varieties in the entire State Quarter series. With high-grade examples and unique die errors fetching over $2,500 at auction, this modern quarter is a treasure you could easily overlook in your pocket change. Released on June 2, 2008, the Arizona Quarter was the 48th coin in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, celebrating Arizona's rugged beauty and natural wonders. It features a breathtaking image of the Grand Canyon, framed by a cluster of blooming saguaro cacti in the foreground. The design captures the spirit of the Southwest, vast, wild, and unmistakably American. The reverse was designed by Joseph Mena, one of the U.S. Mint's most respected sculptor-engravers. His goal was to highlight Arizona's dramatic landscapes, symbolizing both its geological history and its unique desert life. The inscriptions read, Arizona 1912, marking the year the state entered the Union, along with Grand Canyon State, the official nickname proudly displayed across the design. At the bottom, you'll find E Pluribus Unum and the issue year 2008, while the obverse bears John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington, the same face that has graced the quarter since 1932. The mint mark, P, sits just to the right of Washington's ponytail, identifying it as struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced about 244,600,000 coins, while the Denver Mint struck roughly 265 million. The San Francisco Mint also issued limited proof and silver proof versions for collectors. Though the total mintage was high, most of these quarters went into circulation immediately, and perfectly preserved examples remain challenging to find. In circulated grades, a 2008 Arizona quarter is worth its face value, 25 cents, but in higher uncirculated grades, prices can rise dramatically. MS-65, around $5 to $10. MS-66, typically $25 to $50. MS-67, anywhere from $80 to $200. MS-68, an ultra-rare grade, can exceed $1,000 depending on eye appeal. The record auction sale for a Philadelphia minted 2008 Arizona State Quarter came when a PCGS MS-68 example brought an impressive $2,760, demonstrating that even modern coins, if flawless, can rival vintage silver pieces in value. But what truly sets this coin apart are its errors and die varieties, especially the famous extra cactus variety, one of the most popular and visually obvious modern mint errors. This variety appears as extra cactus leaves covering part of the initials, JF, for John Flanagan, at the lower right of the reverse design. The effect makes it look as though the cactus grew an extra arm. These coins are not intentionally struck. They result from die chips and die breaks, small chunks of metal breaking off the die and creating a raised blob on the coin's surface. Collectors prize the extra cactus, Arizona quarters, especially those in mint state grades. MS63 Mega Siemens 64, about $40 to $75. MS65, around $100 to $200. MS66 or higher, can bring $400 to $1,000 plus, depending on size and placement of the die break. The most dramatic examples have sold for over $1,500, verified by PCGS and NGC. Another notable error variety includes off-center strikes, worth $100 to $300, and clipped planchets, around $250 to $600. A few rare missing clad layer specimens, where the nickel coating didn't bond properly, have reached prices above $1,800. Beyond value, the Arizona quarter represents one of the most iconic state designs. The Grand Canyon dominates the scene, representing one of the world's most recognizable natural wonders, carved over millions of years by the Colorado River. The saguaro cactus, unique to the Sonoran Desert, stands as a symbol of resilience and life in harsh environments. The combination creates a powerful image of endurance, strength, and natural beauty, qualities Arizonans hold dear. The design was chosen from thousands of public submissions, reflecting how the state quarter program brought Americans closer to their history and geography than ever before. The Arizona coin, in particular, became an instant favorite among collectors because of its bold contrast, clean lines, and sense of depth. For those chasing the finest registry sets, the Arizona quarter remains one of the toughest coins to find in flawless condition. PCGS reports only a handful of MS68 examples, and no perfect MS69s have ever been certified. That extreme rarity fuels intense competition at auctions, where even a small jump in grade can double or triple a coin's price. Today, the 2008 Arizona State Quarter stands as a fitting tribute to America's wild beauty, and a reminder that modern coins can still surprise us with incredible value. If you happen to find one in your pocket, check the reverse near the cactus leaves for any extra raised metal. It might be the famous extra cactus error. With one small detail, your 25-cent coin could become a $1,000 collectible, proving that in the world of coins, even the newest designs can hide timeless treasures. The 2008 Alaska State Quarter might look like a typical coin from the 50 State Quarter series, but collectors know it hides some truly wild surprises. From its bold frontier design to high-grade mint state rarities and striking error coins, this quarter has proven it can sell for over $2,800 at auction. Not bad for something most people spend without a second thought. Released on August 25, 2008, the Alaska Quarter was the 49th design in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, just before the series concluded with Hawaii. The design pays tribute to Alaska's rugged wilderness, rich wildlife, and untamed spirit that defines America's last frontier. The reverse design, created by Susan Gamble and sculpted by Charles Vickers, features a powerful grizzly bear emerging from a river with a freshly caught salmon in its jaws. A scene that perfectly captures the raw beauty and dominance of nature in Alaska. Behind the bear, icy river waters flow beneath towering mountains, reflecting the state's vast natural resources and wild terrain. Inscriptions include, Alaska 1959, the year the state entered the Union, and, the Great Land, Alaska's official nickname. Below the image appears, E pluribus unum, and the issue year 2008. On the obverse, as always, is George Washington's profile, designed by John Flanagan and slightly modified by William Cousins for the State Quarter series. The mint mark, P, found to the right of Washington's ponytail, identifies this coin as struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced about 254 million Alaska quarters, while the Denver Mint struck around 254,400,000. The San Francisco Mint added limited proof and silver proof editions for collectors. Although the total mintage seems high, pristine MS68 and MS69 examples from Philadelphia are extremely scarce, and that's where the serious money lies. In circulated condition, the 2008 Alaska Quarter is worth 25 cents, but values climb sharply with condition. MS65, around $5 to $10. MS66, between $25 and $45. MS-67, typically $80 to $150. MS-68, extremely rare, often selling between $700 and $1,200. The record auction sale for the Alaska quarter shocked many collectors. A PCGS MS-68 2008 Alaska quarter sold for an impressive $2,875, one of the highest prices paid for any state quarter from the series. That single coin proved that even modern issues can achieve elite value if perfectly preserved. Now, what really excites coin hunters are the errors and varieties, especially on this coin. Several notable minting mistakes have been discovered, and some command massive premiums. The most famous is the extra claw error, a result of a die break on the bear's front paw. It looks as if the grizzly has a fourth claw, which was never part of the original design. This error variety has become one of the most desirable in the entire state quarters program. Here's what those error coins can bring. Minor extra claw. Light die break, around $50 to $100. Strong extra claw. Anywhere from $200 to $600. High-grade certified extra claw, MS65 MS67, up to $1,200. The most dramatic examples, graded and verified by PCGS or NGC, have sold for $1,500 to $2,000, depending on luster and strike quality. Other rare errors include off-center strikes, worth $150 to $400. Clipped planchets, up to $600. Missing clad layer errors, worth $1,000 plus. Each of these unique minting mistakes adds real collector demand and strong auction value. Beyond rarity, the Alaska quarter carries deep symbolic meaning. The grizzly bear embodies strength, independence, and the spirit of survival, qualities that define both Alaska and the American frontier itself. The salmon symbolizes abundance, while the background mountain and river remind us of Alaska's vast natural wealth and untouched beauty. When this design was released in 2008, collectors praised it for being one of the most detailed and dramatic of all 50 state quarters. The level of texture in the bear's fur, the rippling water, and the contrast between the wildlife and mountain backdrop made it an instant favorite among collectors. Even today, the Alaska State Quarter remains a must-have for registry set builders and casual collectors alike. PCGS and NGC report only a handful of MS-68 graded coins, and none have reached the elusive MS-69 level. A fact that keeps high-end competition fierce whenever one appears on the market. If you ever come across a bright, sharply struck Alaska quarter with minimal marks, check that bear's claw carefully. If it looks like it has an extra one, you might be holding a $1,000 treasure. And if it's a perfectly struck, certified MS-68, your coin could rival the auction record, over $2,800 for a single piece of modern U.S. change. From the cold rivers of Alaska to the hands of collectors around the world, this coin tells a story of power, nature, and American artistry. It's a modern reminder that even coins minted just a few years ago can hold incredible history and surprising value when looked at closely. So next time you see a 2008 Alaska quarter in your pocket, don't spend it just yet. Look closely, because under that fierce bear's paw might lie one of the most valuable modern quarters ever minted, proof that the wild spirit of Alaska still lives on in America's change.